Hello, my gorgeous listeners. Welcome to my unfiltered diary. I'm a pretty average girl. I'm very independent and always have been. And on this podcast, I share my best advice, my journey and life experiences, some juicy stories, and if you keep listening, you're going to hear the rest, obviously. So for the time being, I have started making the podcast episodes as groups and they've become series because I can't seem to fit it all into an hour. I feel like more than an hour is a bit too long. Too much of less than an hour, like less than half an hour, is too short. So trying to aim for that bracket is way harder than I thought. However, don't worry, you got me, I'll figure it out. Anyway, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a really nice day. I'm recording on a Thursday. Today marks 2 weeks where I have become officially unemployed for 2 weeks. I'll be honest, I fucking love it. Okay? I'm still working. It's not like I'm just sitting around doing fuck all. So for the past 2 weeks, if it wasn't for Alex, I actually would not be able to be in a position where I can do this. And he actually said something really nice to me today, because I tend to bring it up almost every single day about the fact that I'm unemployed, and I always make a joke about it. You know, I've had a couple mental breakdowns and I've got a bit upset about it. And he said to me, you have never been in a position where you can just rely on someone else to support you. And he is so right. I've never had somebody where I can just focus on what I want to do instead of what I have to do, if that makes any sense. So being a very independent person, if any of you are in the same sort of mindset and situation as me, I have never been able to just take a week off work to do nothing. I've never been able to take a month off of work to work on what I want to work on. And, you know, for the last year or so, I have been working day and night from the moment I wake up till the minute I go to bed, and it has been very exhausting. Almost a year ago now, mid-February, I launched my website for my brand new business. I started a business called Burn My Mood. It just sells, therapeutic products that are completely natural. They're also eco-friendly, which makes 10 out of 10 bonus. Majority of the products are also vegan friendly. I had to make sure that I could fit a very wide variety of people when starting a small business. And the idea was that I needed to help people in ways that I help myself. So when I was going through my mental health journey, the roughest part of it, I was using incense and candles and things that, add that extra touch to your life and make things more therapeutic and enable you to meditate and be in a calm place, in a calm situation. 50% of the brand is the social media side. So I post quotes, I post motivation. I actually make memes, right? I have made so many memes that just laugh about mental health situations that I've been in, and it is so interesting that they are the posts that do the best. However, I wanted the intention to be the motivational quotes, the things I relate to. When I've been in very depressive states, when I've been heartbroken or just in a lot of mental pain, I always find quotes online that I relate to, and I naturally just share them. That's my way of expressing how I feel when I can't feel like I can talk to somebody. And I know that when I see other people doing it, I think, God, you're a bit depressed. But I am literally that person, okay? So I do that more than anybody else I know. A lot of the time in the beginning when I first started doing it, people used to be like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just fucking broken, okay? So when I share these things and then I see other people doing it, I think to myself, God, they're a bit depressed. But now I would go, are you okay? I understand it now that I've self-reflected in that way. Anyway, I'm rambling on about it. So a year ago, I started my small business and, it didn't do as successful as I wanted it to, but what did I expect? I didn't have thousands of pounds laying around to build this huge empire. I built my website myself off of knowledge that I'd learned previously. And because of the industry I worked in before, I learned a lot of the logistics as such on how to run something. The thing is I am absolutely terrible with social media. I've been trying for a year. I've got better at it, but I haven't got that camera face and that camera confidence. I think it's quite obvious to people that view it that it's cringy. I think to myself, yeah, I've got the confidence. I get on camera and it's when I'm looking dead at myself I just can't get my barrier over that. I know I'll be able to do it soon. I think it'll be a lot easier when I do it for this podcast. I'm recording these episodes before I actually release, like the first couple of episodes. So hopefully I will not keep cringing on the inside. And I think all it takes is like one video to blow up, and a lot of it can be luck, but creating that high quality content with just a phone camera is unrealistic, you know. And most of these people who are influencers and internet gurus, they, you know, use high quality cameras and they have got a lot of practice and learn a lot of this stuff, and they probably make a lot of their videos not on the platforms, you know. When I try and use Instagram to create a video, I have Burn My Mood Podcast J and my personal account, and I also share another account. So I've got about 4 social media accounts, 3 of which are actually mine. Another one is one I share. And all of them, I think apart from one, they have this glitch on my Instagram account. I think it's because I use the same email for all of them. And I know I'm not the only person, because I've seen it on a very few rare amount of accounts where they say, does anybody else have this problem on Reels? And yes, I always do. Like, I can't make a Reel on Instagram. Like, I have to make a video on Canva, or I have to make a video on TikTok and then share it to Instagram, because otherwise I get this glitch and it just looks shocking. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is. I've reported it to Instagram multiple times. I've updated the software. They've said to me, like, it might be the device. Not they. People online have said it's probably the device you're using it on. But I used to use it on an Apple device, because I used to do all of my social media on an iPod for my business. But I got a bit bored of that. So obviously iPods are really small. So I ended up, when I got a new phone, I put everything in my new phone anyway. And it made 0 difference. So it's definitely something to do with my account. It doesn't like me. So whilst I've been unemployed, I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning every single day, except from Saturday. Is it Saturday or Sunday? I think it's Saturday. Yeah, so I wake up at 6 in the morning every single day except Saturday. I have like an hour lie-in. And by 7 o'clock, me and Alex are on our way to the gym. You know, I've got ready in the morning and all that jazz. We do about an hour or so at the gym. We come home, have breakfast, and then we crack on with work until 12. And then at 12 o'clock, I create social media content and post and engage with all followers across all platforms. And then at 1 o'clock, I have lunch. And then I do another 4 to 5 hours solid of work. And then by 6 o'clock, Alex will finish his day of work and I'll finish mine. We have dinner, I keep the house clean, and then we watch a bit of Netflix while I'm working. So I could be editing a podcast, or I could be studying for my CBT course, or I could just be doing more social media work. We do a lot of research in our spare time as well. And then we're in bed by about 10, asleep before 11, hopefully. I know that I need the routine even when being unemployed, otherwise there is no point in me being unemployed. The whole point of Alex giving me the opportunity for me to stay at home and focus on what I want to work on is so that I can actually spend time and catch up with myself so that I can go back to work. Obviously, I am not from a privileged background as such. Many might disagree. However, if you listen to my previous episodes, you will understand I've not had the easiest journey. I've not had the hardest, but it's not been bloody easy. So something I find I have to do is work hard while earning from another company, basically, because I'm not going to get famous overnight. I'm not going to, have the same luck that most people have. I know for a fact that everything I'm working on will do well. Otherwise, I wouldn't be putting my all into it. However, I am so behind on every single thing I've started. So where I've been working for another company for a very long time, I wasn't able to have the energy to do the same things at night. Like, I have been doing it for a really, really long time, but I wasn't always having dinner. I wasn't sleeping at appropriate time. I haven't been to the gym for a very long time. When I go to the gym in Milton Keynes, like the company called the Gym Group, and you can actually, on the tablets outside, you can actually track how often you go, when you went, for however many minutes, right? And I was looking the other morning when I'd finished my set, who am I? A fucking DJ? When I finished my session, I was checking on the tablet from when I last went, And when the lockdown lifted the first time, I think I only went because the gyms reopened. I went twice in September, and then I didn't go until literally this 2 weeks ago. Bearing in mind, I have looked at gyms. My friend took me to her gym. She goes to Ballantyne, or have you say it. Lush gym, by the way. You get sauna, steam room, swimming pool, which is exactly what I want. That's what I want to be doing. However, I wasn't willing to commit to paying to that, even though it's not huge expensive. I think it's something like only £40 a month. It's not actually that expensive for a gym with a swimming pool, but it's a far distance. Okay, that's another terrible excuse because it's not that far from my other gym. I'm just trying to make excuses here. So before the lockdown, I was only going once, maybe twice a week. And some weeks I wouldn't go, but I would go like 3 times a week before and that. And it was just very inconsistent, where the gym's always been something that I've always done. It's definitely a part of me. Staying fit and healthy is very important to me as well, because I get so many fucking health issues. It's insane. And with this whole health anxiety I went through last year, probably not wise for me to sit on my ass and feel sorry about it. I can't even go for a walk without getting out of breath. If I run up the stairs, I need that Ventolin. If you don't know what Ventolin is, when you're asthmatic, you get a blue inhaler and then whatever other inhaler people use. I don't know anybody that uses the same inhaler as me, except from Ventolin. Ventolin is like the generic one that everyone uses. A Ventolin is a preventer, so it stops you from having an asthma attack. So you're meant to take it before activities, my doctor tells me you're not supposed to take it in the morning or at night, but when I stopped, she doubled my dose across everything and told me to take double. So even though they say don't take it morning and night, if they say it to you and you already do, don't stop. A lot of doctors and nurses are not asthmatic, okay? Whenever I've had serious issues with my asthma, I have been on 111 after being to the hospital because I've walked out because they won't fucking help me. I'm quite a calm person when I have an asthma attack. You know, I don't look like I'm having a panic attack like most do, because I've had it constantly since I was a baby. Like, I know when I'm having an asthma attack, I know for a fact panicking does not fucking solve it. It makes it 300 times worse. I don't want to be on a fucking ventilator. So I just stay calm, breathe in, breathe out. It's fucking painful though when you have an asthma attack. And the only people that tend to understand are when doctors call you and they say, yeah, I'm asthmatic. And I'll have loads of doctors calling me like, oh my God, why did you leave? We're going to send you an ambulance. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I was in the hospital, no one would give me oxygen. So I told you, I need to see a doctor urgently. They got, steroids prescribed. So I weren't sticking around for an over-assessment. I'm going to go get them steroids. I need them now, I'm having an asthma attack. I'm in pain. When you speak to a doctor who's actually had asthma, or they have asthma and they understand it. I've only ever had it once where a doctor's called me. They've been very calm with me and they've said, I can see the trace of multiple callers to you you're saying you're fine. They don't believe that you're fine. I'm asthmatic, so I will be able to tell by the way you speak to me. I said, yeah, okay. She said, you are breathing heavy. I said, yeah, it's because I'm having an asthma attack. She was like, yeah, how is it? Well, it's fine now. I'm literally about to walk into Sainsbury's and get these steroids. So once I've taken them, they work very, very instantly. Like, I would say within an hour, I'll feel fine. Like, it eases within, half an hour. And she says, oh, okay, you're fine. If you do have any other issues, you will call back, won't you? I said, yeah, I will, but I know these work. Like, it's not very often that I have to come and get medication for an asthma attack. Usually I just have inhalers, but I wasn't working at that point in time. I was just really ill. Turns out 4 months later, coronavirus pandemic breaks out. Everyone thought maybe it was because you had Rona. Who knows? I survived it. Sorry for going off track. That was a bit of a narcissistic episode there, wasn't it? Very all about me. What isn't all about me? I'm making a podcast episode about myself. Well, sorry that took a quarter of the episode up. So if you listen to my last episode, you will be thrilled to know that I am creating a part 2 right now in this episode. A mental health check is really important. This is why I ask you every single episode, how are you doing today? Whenever I ask this question, you should pause the pod and just think, what are my thoughts for today? How am I feeling? And just be self-aware of how you feel, reflect and think, am I in control of this situation? Am I able to change how I feel? Can I change something I can't control? Obviously not. You obviously cannot change something that is out of your control. That was something that I found very important. But as you also know, I've decided to add a little quote of the day feature in every podcast because I'm a quoter / meme maker. You're welcome. I really enjoy reading a good quote in the morning. So today's quote of the day: understanding when to hold on and when to let it go is so important. I really do wonder how all of you interpret this quote. For me, it relates to relationships in my life, but it's very broad for me. So this is romantic relationships, friendships, and even the relationship I have with my family. I would describe a lot of relationships that I've had in my life as very toxic. When you have toxic relationships surrounded around you, you really do start to assume you are the problem. I mean, I am the common denominator. You can have a best friend that has been there with you like your whole entire life. They know what you've been through, your family, your ex-relationships, and yet they can still be bad for you. If you're anything like me, cutting off a best friend is like a fucking breakup. Actually worse sometimes. I fell out with my childhood best friend quite a lot, and I always repaired our friendship. Not necessarily fixed it, but I would make that gesture of going out my way to start the conversation and breaking the silence. As I got older, I just found that I deserved more from the relationships I had in life. So my best friend wasn't fulfilling the role in my life that was once fulfilled. So when she cut me off, I just didn't feel like I had the same emotions towards it. I didn't feel like I had the same emotions towards repairing it, is probably the better way to put it. Around the same time, I had broke up with the first guy I was ever totally in love with. It wasn't the first time we'd broke up. He cheated on me, he gaslighted me, and so much other stuff. I can't even be bothered to go into that right now. Let's keep this one a bit more positive. He's definitely a huge playing piece as to why I am so fucking crazy. I didn't really have a great relationship with my mum at the exact same time as losing these two huge roles in my life. She was pretty narcissistic. So was my ex. And I wouldn't say she's a regular mum. She did try her best, but she's a cool mum. So there is that, but I did really lack a lot of things because I didn't learn them from my upbringing. What I mean by a cool mum, you know, someone that gets on with all your friends and doesn't always, you know, sometimes she would still be that mum role, but sometimes she would play the adult role, like the friendship role, which didn't work very well when there was conflict. But that's a discussion for another time. When my mum kicked me out, she wrote me a note on the whiteboard. She had a whiteboard in the house where she would write like shopping lists, things to remember, almost like a calendar, but it was a whiteboard. And I quote, she wrote on this board, "Jay, post your keys through the letterbox." Oh, it was hilarious because everybody saw it. My friends saw it, my sister saw it, and it's just something that's kind of bittersweet, hilarious. It's funny when I look back on it. My friends saw it because they actually helped me move into my new house, into my first home. I got zero support from my mum until it'd been like a couple months. I think she actually texted me like a couple of months after I moved in, like, you know, asking me if I needed something for the house. I can't remember what it was, but obviously at this point I did not need anything. Like, no. My auntie was pretty supportive though. She offered me a place to stay. She offered me everything she had, and I'll be forever grateful for that. She even helped me move into my second home. Sometimes just knowing people are there on standby to give you help when you need it, it's just the most intimate way to tell someone, I love and care about you, and I'm here for you. Trying to hold on to relationships and understand where all these people in my life are coming from can be hard because I didn't feel like at this point anyone had my best interest at heart, yet I would always prioritise everybody else's best interests, everybody else's best intentions. To be able to let go of these kind of relationships, you might be able to just cut them off, and good for you. I need some of that strength. And I am a strong-ass woman. But for me, I have to be pushed and pushed until I really can't do something anymore. I will give my all to something until it breaks me. And that is my red flag. And that is why I should not be giving advice. However, I don't think it's a bad trait. It's not a great trait. It's not a good trait. But it's not a bad thing. sometimes you have to learn how to fail and then you can succeed. So in my eyes, it's like sort of tasting that, but being emotionally attached to something instead. This way I do feel like I've tried my best and I've just given my all to something. When all this happened, losing all these people in my life, it just felt like a triple breakup, if that makes sense. All the people I was closest to, I had lost. Luckily, I had a few close friends, but they weren't the closest to me at the time of these losses. Going forward, I did spend a lot of time with my friends. We had a lot of fun. We spent a lot of time going on adventures, seeing new places, and it almost felt like they actually lived with me. Over the years, we grew apart. It's a real shame because I actually really treasured that time of my life, and it's another example of understanding when to let go. I would reach out a lot, and I just felt like a lot of these friends of mine didn't want me around, and sometimes it would feel super one-sided. The thing is, it wasn't that, and it's not that. That was not the case. It's just how I felt. So slowly I stopped reaching out so much, and I feel bad because I do miss a lot of these friendships, and I know that there are some people who aren't the type to reach out. They aren't the type to be like, hey, how are things? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I see a lot of these things online where people say, you know, friendship's a two-way thing. A phone call has two fucking phones involved. And it's like, no way. If your friendship dynamic has always been you contact that person, you let them know, I don't think it should be anybody's responsibility to make it a two-way thing. You know, if that's the dynamic someone has. What if you have a friend, right, that suffers with crazy anxiety and doesn't want to tell anybody about it because they're ashamed of it, right? There is absolutely no reason you should be like, well, phone calls a two-way thing. Fuck no. Like, everybody is their own person. Someone doesn't always choose to reach out. No one loves to ask for help unless that's all they know. And some people don't know how to ask for help, and they don't realise that it's perfectly normal to be like, oh, can you help me out? Can you do this? I am the most stubborn person in the fucking world, and I would rather struggle than ask for someone's help. Like, it's a very, very slim chance I ask for help unless someone offers me it multiple times, and then I almost feel bad for not accepting their help. It took me a very long time to learn how to accept help from people, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that as well. It's not your fault if you have never been given help in the past that you feel like you can accept it. It's the same when it comes to like relationships, where someone does something nice for you and then they make you feel bad about it. They're like, well, I bought dinner. Well, I took you out. Well, I bought you this. Well, that was meant to be a gift, not something that you should expect to return from. Like, that's fucking crazy. Imagine someone took you to, I don't know, took you abroad as a holiday, and they were like, oh, this is your birthday present. And then they were like, well, I took you here, so why haven't you booked something for my birthday? And we naturally feel like we have to start spending so much money on our partners. Like, my little sister, she spent grand on her boyfriend. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? Over the Christmas period, I said to Alex, can we have a £30 spending limit? And he splashes out. I know what he's like. He spoils me rotten. But, babe, I have a fucking house to pay for, right? I don't even spend that much on my fucking family. Like, are you fucking crazy? So I said, look, it's not because I'm not grateful. Everything I want, I have. Everything you want, you have. Your birthday's 2 days before. My sister's birthday's a week after. I have a lot of people to buy presents for. And I can't afford it, okay? But the reason why I don't want you to spend it is because I will end up matching you. Like, I will end up going out and buying more, and I really can't afford to do that. So can we just do something small and nice? And the thing is, anybody that actually knows me and is close to me knows I like really intimate gifts. Like, I really like something that is something that I will enjoy because of who I am. Like, it relates to me. I don't want someone spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on me. I don't want, a fucking fresh Rolex. I don't want diamond fucking heels. I like things where people print a photo of me and them and put it in a photo frame. I like something that I can add to my home that is like a fleece blanket. So if you want to get me a Christmas present or birthday present in advance, there you go. And honestly, I can just tell who in my life knows me the best because they get me these kind of gifts and I love them the most. You know, I use them a lot. I just love them so much. It's just the sweetest thing. And whenever people ask me what I want, I just say the cheapest thing possible that makes you think of me. And they go, I don't know what that is. Chocolate. Like, what do you mean? Chocolate's like £1. I don't want to keep buying chocolate because I go through it so much. So, chocolate or print a photo of me. Thanks. Yeah, that's just me. Anyway, I'm going off topic again. I can't fucking help myself. Sorry. Okay, so going back to losing contact and touch with my old friends, I haven't really seen or heard from any of them since. I mean, if they were to reach out to me now, I would almost guarantee that I would see them. Because our friendships were actually great. Like, we've been friends for over 10 years. We went to school together. All of our growing up, we've spent so much time together, watching each other develop in jobs, careers, you know, life. It's just been an interesting journey for all of us. You know, and I see all of them as family. So it's a shame that we've all grown apart and we're not really in each other's lives as such. I don't know how much or how involved they are with each other, but I just know that I ended up taking a step back just because it was upsetting me when nobody was really interested in seeing me. It just naturally happens. Like, people do grow apart and it fucking sucks, okay? I hate it. But what can you do, really? You sit there and worry about something and about a friendship. At the end of the day, people do grow up, they do get older, and it's not like if I saw them in the street they would walk the other way. It's just the natural cycle of life, you know, when you aren't crossing paths with those people anymore and you've got to go completely out of your way. Like, I get it, everyone's too busy. I'm super busy. I always mean to make time to see my neighbour. We're like best friends, and yet she lives next door and I still don't always have enough time to see her. It's crazy. Like, I just have created this life where I'm working hard so that I can have more time soon and I can have more of a future, because I was just stuck in a rut and I was constantly working for other people throughout my whole life, and everyone would say, what do you want to do with your life? What career do you want? And I just thought, I ain't got a fucking clue. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and keep working my way up and earning more money. It got to a point where I couldn't earn any more money. I couldn't grow any further. And because I gained the learning tools, skills and experiences through experience in a company and not by qualifications, it's not like I can just bounce into another job like that at the same pay grade. So sometimes you just got to go back to the bottom. And if you have the opportunity, do it now. You know, step back, think about what you want to do. Because I will be going back to work, you know, I will be going to work in a new company. I just want to work somewhere where, you know, I miss working in places like bars where you can just chat away to people and actually sort of have a social life. And even though I can work while I'm doing things, I just miss that element, but they just pay so bad. Like, you can't grow very well in a restaurant hospitality type of company, and it's fucking terrible the way some people treat other people. I mean, I don't really get treated like shit, apart from the staff. They treat you like shit, but I don't let people walk all over me. However, I see other people treating other people like shit, and it's just not nice, and I've had people talk to me like shit. Anyway, I keep going off fucking topic. Am I feeling okay today? You know, when I first started this podcast, I think I did this in the intro where I'm like, well, not intro, the trailer. And I'm like, welcome to my podcast. I have multiple personalities and I can't stick to one topic because it's like a train track in my head. You're getting that full effect today. You're fucking welcome. So in today's episode, how to deal with mental health. If you listen to the last pod, you will understand the roots of my journey and my first encounter of a panic attack. If you haven't, pause this, listen to the first mental health episode, and then come back to this point in the podcast. Otherwise, some of this will not make sense and it'll be way too deep, okay? We are going back into the deep part of my secrets, of my soul, because I thought it was a fucking wild idea to share it to the fucking world. Anyway. So, now that you've listened to the first episode and you've let me ramble on for the past like half an hour, I'm ready to start part 2. I know within myself I actually have mentally blocked a lot of my mental health issues as a child and young teen. I don't fully remember everything and every feeling. I remember who I would confide in when I wanted to hurt myself as such. I didn't want to mention this, but since I didn't mention it in my last depressive episode, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to keep it very brief, but this is definitely a trigger warning for anybody that's ever self-harmed or wanted to inflict pain on themselves. So don't think that what I did was okay. It's just something that I feel like is good to share and learn from, okay? So I remember these glimpses of being in my bedroom. I felt so unloved. Like, I literally felt like nobody wanted me around, nobody cared about me. I was just such a lonely child in a house full of people. And because mental health was such a new discussion when I was a teenager, this was when everyone was like, oh my god, did you know that girl cuts herself? Oh my god, have you seen that guy's arms? Oh my god, can you see me? The thing is, everyone acted really shocked and in horror about it. And I do believe it became some disgusting trend because it was teaching the generation that I grew up in that in order to deal with pain, your struggles, that cutting yourself was a way to help. I have never told anybody this. I have never opened up about this, but I feel like I should mention it or at least address it, highlight it, whatever you want to call it. I actually went through a phase myself where I would hurt myself. It started with having like hair bubbles on my wrist, and I found it really hard to control my anger and console it. I would ping this elastic band on my wrist as hard as I could until it become red, till it become purple, until I'd get bruises. I don't know how the fuck I did that, right? A paper cut hurts me now. If I get a paper cut, I fucking squeal like a bitch. If someone throws like a fucking little tiny ball at me, I fucking scream ow. But this is a true story. So where the elastic band would ping so hard and I would have all this rage and anger, I would ping it so hard it'd become, you know, from red to purple to blue to like almost a greeny black, you know. It wasn't enough pain. Like, I needed to address and deal with whatever was going on with me. Eventually I just become so curious and focused on the pain that I was feeling that I literally tried to cut myself. Exactly what you're thinking. That's exactly what I tried to do. I couldn't believe that this shamed upon act become part of my own train of thought. I really can't explain it. I tried to slice open my own skin. The thing is, it didn't make me feel any better. And it fucking hurt. The minute I saw blood, I just fucking freaked out. This hurt more than a paper cut, and I'm a pussy for pain. So this act of what I was doing did not last long whatsoever. Okay, well, I can't believe I just admitted that. But I think the only reason I remember that is because I actually still have a scar on my wrist from it. Like, whenever I want to put a bracelet on, or whenever I'm in the bath or shower, I just notice it sometimes. And thank God that I didn't enjoy the pain, because this is noticeable enough to me, and yet I don't think anybody's ever noticed it. Like, I think if I pointed it out to someone, they would see. But I don't think anybody's ever actually noticed it, which I'm really lucky for. The point I'm trying to make out of this story is that social media when you're a teenager is fucking dangerous. It was very new to my generation. It was quite new that from the age of 13 you can get Facebook. You can have Twitter from any age, I'm pretty sure at the time. And you could just Google image stuff anyway. So people would discuss these things, and you remember when there was all that drama about Cut for Bieber and all that as well? There was a lot going around about self-harm when I was a teenager. It was very, very, very talked about, and it was very public, and I was dealing with a lot of the time, and I was so stressed, angry, upset, overwhelmed that I actually tried it myself. I'm not fucking proud of it. I wouldn't say I'm ashamed of it, but it's just like, well, it just sounds silly. It sounds like, why would I want to do that because I think everybody else is? And it doesn't even always mean it's because everybody else is doing it. Sometimes it can mean, well, whatever I'm doing is not working, so maybe that will work. Well, that was not the fucking answer, okay? I don't know what the hell was going through my head, but the fact that I knew from the beginning it was not okay, and I internally judged that, but now I understand it more, you know? People do like pain. I had a tattoo once, the tiniest thing, it's like a fucking 50p piece. Not even that. And I found that so painful, and I have this fear of needles and the fear of something poking my skin. I just don't like it. And the fact that I thought that causing harm to myself would help, it just doesn't make sense to me. But for educational reasons, I'm adding it into the episode. But some people do like pain. And some people, you know, when they have tattoos and stuff, they're like, yeah, I can lay there for hours. My mum's like, yeah, I can fall asleep having a tattoo. My first thought after getting my tattoo was, you fucking psychopath. Okay? I don't know why people like tattoos. They look stunning. Why can you not be put to sleep when having a tattoo? Why is that not a thing? If you can put numbing cream on, if you can stab a needle into my body with ink, why can't you just put me on, what's it called, anaesthetic, where it puts you to sleep? Why can't you do that? It makes absolutely no sense to me that they can put a needle with ink in your skin, but they can't put you to sleep. And people can say, it's not the same thing, isn't it? Because you could have an allergic reaction to that ink. You could have an allergic reaction to that needle. I'm just saying, it should be a thing. And if it is a thing, why the fuck has no one told me about it? Because I would have way more tattoos. Anyway, I honestly believe the reason that I did that to myself was because I was almost depressed. I thought inflicting pain on myself would make me feel better, but it really didn't. It definitely doesn't, and the elastic band method doesn't help either. I'm pretty sure that they actually still give that advice today, and it really infuriates me because it's still self-harming. Why would they suggest inflicting pain on yourself? I mean, now that I'm older, as I just said, I can't even have a fucking another tattoo. I can't watch injections, I can't look at needles, and the one tattoo I did get was the most painful experience. I just can't hack it. It literally felt like, and I don't like cats either. Sorry everyone, dog lover only. But I don't like cats, and it felt like a cat was digging its claw in me and it just couldn't get its claw out. I don't know if you've ever had like a kitten in your hands, but their claws are like needle sharp and they get into your skin and they slice your arms open and shit. And that's what it feels like to me. It was not fucking enjoyable. But maybe I don't like it because I just remember that sensation of when I was younger and that pain I put myself through. I didn't do what a lot of other people did, and it was a continuous thing. I tried it once. I tried harming myself, like when I drew blood once, and it was in the same place, and the minute I saw the blood, I fucking freaked out. I thought, fucking hell, I don't want to die. Like, I'm not someone that wants to end my life when I'm in pain. Like, I just wanted to relieve it, you know? I needed to learn how to channel it to make myself feel better, and I was just fucking silly at the time. Sorry about another dull story on the pod though. Let's get back into the positives and focus. In my own personal journey of mental health, I found that it wasn't the easiest journey to understand recovery. I learned that firstly, you need to become self-aware of what you're going through. This is also why I found it really important to discuss my mental health and experience. You learn a lot when you actually speak up, because you want yourself to understand, as well as the person you're discussing it with, instead of just sounding crazy. That's just how my mum works anyway, over-explaining it as per. To grow my self-awareness, I wanted to understand what my triggers were, and why I was the way I was. Why I am the way I am, same thing. By researching and watching tons of videos on YouTube about mental health and practices such as CBT, which is cognitive behaviour therapy, I was learning what I needed to do and looking for the issues underlying my problems. By this, I really learned a lot about myself. I learned that I am obsessed. I was overthinking, like obsessing. I was anxious about everything. How could I have never have known that? Like, throughout my whole life, how did I not know that I was anxious when I'm a very confident person? And how did I not know that I was fucking obsessed with everything? Like, I'm obsessed. And it's not like when people say, you don't get it, I'm obsessed. Like, oh my God, I'm so obsessed with your bag. That's not what I mean. Like, I mean when someone doesn't say bye to you in the same way and you think every possible scenario in your head as to why. Or I think when I'm, sat with people who I usually enjoy comfortable silences with, and I'm like, why is no one talking? And I just talk fucking loads and I bring up everything I can possibly think of because I'm obsessed with why it's so silent. So I'm trying to stop it from being silent. And whenever I have broken up with previous partners in the past, I am obsessed with them. Like, it's just not a healthy way to be, and I didn't understand it. And after the first relationship I had, I sort of thought, fucking hell, I've become obsessed. And I did realise that, but I thought it was just because of the toxic situation that I become obsessed. Turns out, I've always fucking been like it. So I had to learn how to come to terms with that. I've always been very confident, outspoken, loud, and very understanding. When I was still learning about the panic attacks and it was 100% affecting my way of life, I would just call 111. I was begging them to help me, find me a way to go about it. I went to the doctors. For someone with mental health issues, waiting months for an appointment and then another 6 months for a cardiology appointment, that's a long fucking time to worry that you might be dying. I had health anxiety. I thought I was fucking dying every night. I thought I was having almost a heart attack every single day. So imagine having to wait 6 months to just check your heart's all fine. It's fucking ludicrous. I'm sure a lot of you have been in this situation, can understand how it just pushes you back. Anxiety literally causes physical symptoms. So I got these little pains in my belly. My belly got fucking massive. I have never ever been able to gain weight my whole entire life. Like, I was, pretty much anorexic for most of my childhood and teens. And then as I got older, I got healthier. But I would, wake up one morning and I would lose a fucking ton of weight overnight. Like, a lot of people say it can be down to your hormones, but mine was very stress related. And it's a fucking horrible feeling waking up in the morning, you're getting dressed in front of the mirror and you're like, ugh, why have I lost so much weight? And I have never had boobs. So that's something that got to me the most because I just had these little nipples that, made it look like I wasn't an ironing board, which didn't really make much of a difference once I put clothes on. Anyway, I got these pains in my belly got massive, and I haven't been able to gain weight my entire life. I've had bad mental health and I've gained loads of weight. I didn't love it because I knew it wasn't a healthy weight gain. My belly and my tits got massive. My boobs got massive, okay? I thought, fucking hell, I've got some tits. They were actually great. I've always wanted to have tits. I don't think anybody can comprehend how fucking excited I was to have tits. They were fucking huge, okay? But it did look weird, alright? I did look pregnant. For someone that hadn't fucking shagged in a year, I looked fucking pregnant, alright? It was like, I think I actually discussed this in either my last episode or the first episode. I think it was my body dysmorphia all over again when my belly and tits got massive because it fucking looked weird and I wasn't used to it. It didn't feel nice. But when I looked in the mirror head on, I was like, hey, you've got fucking tits. Sorry. I'm trying to have a fucking serious conversation about mental health, but I still can't get over how good those tits were. Like, whenever I see a close friend of mine and I haven't seen them for a long time, and obviously they notice, the tits have gone, and they're like, last year you had massive tits. I'm like, yeah, do you want to see a picture? Because I was just fucking amazed by it. Anyway. So, back to the belly problem. The tits weren't the problem. The belly problem. Now, gaining weight is fucking normal for most people, you know? Most people, they gain weight and it's like, okay, just gotta sort the diet out, go gym, it's all good. The weight I was gaining was not because of that. I was eating healthy. I was working all the time. I was healthy. So even though I weren't going to the gym, I worked out hard enough I worked out enough by doing my job. So it was very physical. I probably work harder than half you fucking men do. And I knew for a fact that I was definitely not gaining weight from that. And I would show people. I would show everyone, like, look how fat I am. And they'd be like, oh my God, you're not fat. And I'm like, oh, I forget that every girl says that. So I'm like, no, darling, let me show you. And I would literally get my fucking belly button out. I was like, fucking hell. Where did your belly come from? Like, I would have to show it to people because everyone would just be like, what are you talking about? Of course you're not fat. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not fat, but my fucking belly is. Look at it. And it was like, have you ever bloated so much from like having a beer or a cider that your belly feels like it's going to pop? Imagine that times 3, right? I looked fucking pregnant and it was that bad that I couldn't even take a picture of myself. I'm hoping I can find one, but I couldn't even take a picture of myself like that. And some of my posts from my Instagram that I kept up is when I just sort of thought, right, I'm going to keep these. Like, I'm just going to accept it. So because of my belly, I was taking these IBS tablets. I did a lot of research. I thought something was wrong with my digestion. Every time I would eat, I would be in so much pain afterwards. So I thought, well, obviously it's to do with not digesting the food properly. And my bloating wasn't normal. It was like 3 times the size of what it should have been. I mean, I've always bloated quite badly because I've always been so tiny. But I started thinking I had become lactose intolerant. I tried everything. I tried a week of going dairy free. I tried a week of going gluten free. Neither of them worked. This pain becomes so bad that I would have to roll into a ball like you would if you had period cramps. And I would have to rock myself to numb the pain. It was really, really uncomfortable. Sorry for the TMI, but I wasn't able to shit for like 2 weeks. I'm not kidding. I couldn't go to the toilet for weeks. And even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I'd be like, oh, you're meant to do this every day. So I'd just sit on the toilet for an hour sometimes, hoping nothing would happen. That's how I knew it was a digestion problem. It was crazy. I'd feel sick more than usual. What scared me was when I went to check up at the doctors and they said everything was normal. I had to have an ECG, a blood test, and be questioned. Nothing came back. You know what she said? You have health anxiety and OCD. I thought OCD was being super clean. It's far from it. It's obsessive thinking, which I am absolutely obsessed with everything. Who knew that was actually a mental health issue? I've been this way my entire fucking life. When I called 111, they suggested I probably had a panic disorder and sleep apnea, but it was unlikely after I did all my research. Sleep apnea tends to be something you get when you're overweight and when you're an older age. It's very rare to get it at my age. I researched every single illness as if I had it. I was obsessed with finding the answers and I just wanted to find the natural ways of fixing them. Like, for example, IBS, I'm pretty sure it's just like a peppermint tablet. Just plant-based stuff. I don't want any medication. I don't want to be on bunches of pills I've got to stay on. I just want something that fixes my problem now. I don't want to have it. I don't want to be in my early 20s taking tablets to stop me from dying. The doctors told me I had to take antidepressants. And I was like, no, I'm not fucking depressed. They said I could only get a therapist if I would take the medication. So they gave me a list of practices and I contacted every single one of them. None of them replied. I emailed local therapists. None of them got back to me. It actually got to a point where my neighbour was so worried about me and contacted a therapist for me on my behalf saying, you know, I'm worried about my friend. She got a reply and they said, yeah, it's £80 an hour. £80 an hour? Fuck. I don't have £80 an hour for therapy. Who the fuck pays £80 an hour for fucking therapy? An hour? Most people earn that a fucking day. Anyway, so I just kept looking. A friend of mine at the time was listening to me talk about my health concerns. He heard it quite a lot I spoke about it every single time I saw him. I think it's because I was quite self-conscious of my belly. I'm the kind of girl that loves a crop top with jeans. I love to have my stomach out because it was my best feature, to be honest. I don't have tits. My ass is slightly pushing it. So legs and belly are my best assets, really. When I lost the belly, I was like, well, fuck. Can't have my belly. I can't have my legs out if my belly's bigger than them, alright? It's just not happening. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm telling my friend about this. I'm telling him. So, there was a Taco Bell opening in Milton Keynes, and there was like a 2-hour queue, and too fucking right my fat ass sat in it, right? And turns out I was actually really disappointed. I don't like Taco Bell. I never had it, but everyone told it to me, so I sat in the queue for 2 hours. Anyway, and I'm with my friend, and I'm telling him all of my health concerns. I'm getting this pain in my belly. I'm getting weird twitching. My belly got massive. I don't mind because I've got big tits, but I kind of need to sort out the belly problem. But I'm taking these IBS tablets, but I still can't shit. You know, it was a very bizarre time in my life. And one day, actually, I think it was the same day in the evening, he said, "Do you know what it is? I think it's because you're a hypochondriac." Let me tell you something. I was so fucking mad when he said that. I lost my shit. I was like, I'm not fucking making this up. And he was like, like, he looked uncomfortable with the fact I lost my shit. And he explained to me what health anxiety was and that he had been through it. He's like, you think there's something wrong with you. You're worrying about it. You're dwelling on it. You're telling your brain there's something wrong with you. So your brain's like, yeah, cool. You're right. Here's the problem you've been looking for, and you're creating the problems. I thought when people said hypochondriac is where someone was bullshitting and they were making it up like for attention, right? So that's why I got so offended. It turns out a hypochondriac is somebody that makes a problem, says, you know, when they say you're making it up, you literally are making it up. So you think, oh, my belly's massive and it's in pain. But the first time my belly was massive, it wasn't in pain. I thought, there's got to be something going wrong with my belly and my digestion. I can't shit, but there's no pain. Day later, there was pain. So everything I thought, well, there is a positive. There wasn't, because I was making, I was convincing myself that it was way worse than what it was. So my belly getting bigger was me being a hypochondriac, then it being in pain, hypochondriac. I'm having to take painkillers for this at some point. All these health issues I'm creating because I think there's something wrong with me because I have health anxiety. The fact that I sit up every single morning throughout the day and the evening Googling what's wrong with me because I'm so scared that something is seriously wrong with me, and there fucking wasn't. Like, everything come back clear. My cardiology appointment came back clear. My ECGs were fine. The blood test was fine. So there wasn't anything detected that I had to change. But that was when I really became self-aware of the whole scale of anxiety. It's not just a feeling or an emotion. It is a physical health condition too. I was in pain. My belly was big. And I was taking these pills because of the anxiety. After that self-awareness, he told me I was a hypochondriac, explained to me what health anxiety was, and I am not fucking joking. The next day, my belly was flat again. Like, I'm serious. Like, the next day, my belly was flat again. Can you believe how fucking crazy that is? So I just decided that day I was creating a world for myself. I went through my Instagram and I followed a hell of a lot of celebrities. I started finding self-help pages, self-love pages, and surrounding myself with positivity. A lot of people suggested meditation to me. I can't quite say I've mastered it yet in the way they've told me to do it. But all these famous rich people, they're fucking onto something. I'm telling you. It works and you really should start doing it now. Follow pages of therapists, because that's a hell of a lot of free advice you will receive. If you're anything like me and can't afford the £80 an hour, that's what you should be doing. Follow therapists for free. I wish I could provide something more to the mental health world. I did start a business. I discussed it earlier on. These are plant-based products, incense, essential oils. I called it Burn My Mood. Watching the smoke of the incense is very satisfying. It helped me meditate, so I can't meditate where I sit in silence, close my eyes and think of nothingness. I have to fixate on something visual because all of my inner thoughts are what's the problem. And I know when I've said that before, someone's like, that's exactly why you need to meditate. Well, this is what I like to do, and it's self-meditating for me. So I will use one of those backflow incense burners when I feel really anxious. I put one of the cones on. Within 5 minutes, it comes down like a waterfall, and it's well satisfying. People like satisfying sounds. I like satisfying things that are visual meditating to me. I find focusing on that with some meditation music on YouTube really helps, or read a book with meditation music, and that's very therapeutic. Something good about getting into a routine of having meditation as well. So this incense is a meditation for me. It helps me get into a calm place, brings out the best of myself, and it just tricks my brain into thinking, okay, this scent is around, so I remember this scent as being a calm environment. Same as like when they tell you when you're studying to eat the same sweet or the same food, so that when you're about to do your exam you should eat that because your brain remembers certain things because of that. They're relevant, they're related, similar. I don't think I explained that right, but you know what I mean. I really do think there should be more affordable help out there for someone with mental health issues. In my experience, I looked on mental health charity websites. I couldn't find what I needed help with, so after spending like half an hour browsing and reading and applying myself to help myself, I found the Contact Us page on a mental health charity website. I wrote a detailed explanation of what I needed help with. I told them I felt suicidal. I mean, I wasn't going to kill myself, but I think everyone or a lot of people get these intrusive thoughts where they're like, oh, I could just kill myself. What if I just died or disappeared? So in my opinion, committing suicide and being suicidal is not the same thing. So don't cut my head off for saying that. Do you ever just like drive home from a shit day at work? You see a bridge over a dual carriageway, and before you drive under it, you just think, if I put my foot down and just steer to the left a little, I could just die? I know that sounds really deep, but it's just an example of an intrusive thought that I have, okay? It happens. If you're saying it doesn't happen, then I'm glad you got your life together, you know? What the hell? Why doesn't everyone? I'm pretty sure you all do. Everyone's thought to themselves, if I do this, I could die. Okay? Now, the reason I say meditating is so powerful is because you can control your intrusive thoughts by meditating. I told the charity I was going to kill myself if I didn't get myself some help, mainly to spark some kind of emergency, like I needed an urgent reply. I wasn't going to actually kill myself. Well, their reply, and I quote, "Please follow our website for more information." Like, damn, I couldn't find what I fucking needed on your website. I've given you the impression that I want to die, and you just brush me off your shoulder. It is a really bad look, especially since the only kind of charities I've ever donated to are things like the RSPCA and mental health charities. So they're definitely not getting donations from me anymore. That's like paying tax and then the police go in, nah, deal with this one yourself, actually. The fuck? So this year I started studying CBT, cognitive behaviour therapy. If I can't afford it, then I'll just learn what they do. Well, it's helped me and my way of thinking. No, it really has, seriously. I really understand a lot more about how it works. So in the near future, once I've completed the course, I might start an online web chat service or a video service where people can join the chat or join the call and just say, look, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking. And just to be someone there for voice of reason, or just to say to them, how about you try and look at it from this perspective? Are you telling me the full story? Like, are you looking at it from that angle correctly? I know it won't be as good as these psychologists, but I'll charge something very low. And if you find this helps, I can help you find a qualified counsellor. A lot of therapists do that. I'm literally studying it. So if it says when I'm studying it, it is your duty, if you don't feel like you can help this person, that you refer them to the correct practitioner. That's why these people get paid like £80 an hour, because most of them are just shoving them off onto someone else. And it's not like they're shoving them off because they don't want to deal with them. It's because they don't feel like they're helping them the way they need the help. They're paying £80 a fucking hour. By referring you to a professional, at least I can narrow down the specific help you need. And if you can't afford the help, I'll happily chat away to you and help you feel better, just to get it off your chest, you know? This isn't about trying to gain money in this situation. That is what, building a small business is for. Hopefully get myself out of financial crisis. But with the podcast, not with a fucking podcast, but with the web chat, I can actually, help people get things off their chest and channel their emotions and think of things from a different perspective. Because that's mainly what CBT therapy is. It's like, okay, I understand you're mad, but have you thought about it this way? And when people look at things from a different perspective, it's like, oh, well, no, I didn't think of it that way. And it gives a different narrative to the situation instead of this person hates me, this person does me dirty. Well, maybe this person's got their own shit going on, Anyway, I just feel like it's strange how we can be more comfortable talking to a total stranger about ourselves instead of someone we actually know. I just feel like that's what some people need. Reassurance and guidance. It's really something I think most people should have as a necessity, as an essential, and kind of like a life coach, but just for mental health, really. Let me know what you think about providing this service for an internet web chat where people can talk and discuss things with me about their mental health. Do you think it's a wise idea? Do you think I'll get a lawsuit? I know that I would be allowed to practice as long as I don't call myself a psychologist. Why would I lie about it? It's going to be very cheap. I haven't decided how I'd work on it anyway. I just want to get the course out of the way first so I can incorporate it into Burn My Mood more and share my thoughts and opinions about it. And besides, great life hack, if you can't afford therapy, study it. I bought the course off Groupon. Yeah, you're welcome. I hope you've enjoyed my mental health episode. I just want you to feel like you can connect to me in a way in regards to mental health. There's no reason for you to hold it into yourself. Like, you shouldn't be ashamed of it. Everyone goes through it at a stage in life. And anybody that doesn't have anything nice to say about it, they'll be the first person reaching out to you when they're going through it themselves. So whatever they say, just tell them exactly how you feel, because you could really help that person in the future. Sometimes life isn't about taking everything from people. It's so much about giving and teaching people things, because something you tell someone that makes them curious and makes them stop and think for a minute, that's something they remember for a very, very long time. Now, thank you so much for listening, tuning in and hearing me out today. I really hope you're enjoying my podcast so far. Let me know if my efforts have improved. I produce, write, edit and create my podcast completely independently. If you're listening to this episode, please share it on social media, tag @podcast.j. I will reshare it and give you my thanks. I'm really interested to know who is listening. I've got some very, very exciting episodes coming up soon. And I have an overwhelming amount of different topics to discuss. So if you want me to discuss something, let me know, because I will prioritise that, okay? I will happily go over topics in a different perspective and different detail. If I redid the episodes I have already done, they would all sound completely different, because every day I basically wake up a different person. Can't really explain it, but that's how it is around here. Don't really know how to explain that part, but like today, I haven't been able to stay on topic. I have failed miserably at sticking to one subject, when usually I do this, just my mind goes blank, but today, I'm fucking full of conversation, and I'm full of burps. What the hell? Do you know, throughout this episode, I've had to edit all of my burps out because I sound like a disgusting man. Not to say all men are disgusting, but it's not very feminine of me, is it? Alex took me out for lunch today. It was very nice. We went to a place called Byron Kitchen or something like that in Centre MK. I don't really know what else there is to it. But yeah, it's a burger place. Very nice. Very good burgers. The chicken was the best part, and it wasn't even part of the burger. I do halloumi fries. But yeah, very gassy meal with cherryade. Very nice. I never eat very unhealthy, but it was all freshly cooked, so why not treat yourself? Very nice lunch. And yeah, that's why I've had to edit all my burps out. Don't know why. Too much info. Don't know why I'm telling you all that. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. My ass is going numb from where I'm sat in the same position. Do you know, I don't know if this episode's going to sound that echoey, but I have this scene when I'm sat in my room. I work it out quite well, actually, in accordance to my washing loads. So when I do the clothes washing, Anything I can't hang on the air out, I hang over the doors. So luckily, I washed my bedding this week. I've shut the curtains, got wet towels over the doors, and that's created like a sound barricade to stop too much echoing. And I have to sit on my bed because apparently sound is absorbed by clothing and soft areas. So yeah, build like a fort in my bedroom soon. Oh my god, that would be so much fun. Imagine if I built a fort in my bedroom. Actually, no, I'd get scared. Alright, scrap that idea. I'd get paranoid, there's ghosts and shit. I'm tired. I've got a busy weekend ahead. Alex has got a show. I'm going to go eat something. Don't know what I'm going to have, but I'm going to go eat something. Make Alex come home so I can continue watching our Netflix series. We just started watching something new actually. So we're pretty good at finding some really good series. We just finished Ozark, the newest series, and there's only half the series there. And they did that with Money Heist, and I was fucking pissed. But I can't wait for them to release a new one. And that girl that plays Ruth in Ozark, you deserve a fucking Grammy, darling. Okay? That acting is 10 out of 10. I was so involved. I was like, oh my god, I can't take my eyes off this telly. And then the series fucking ended. Oh, I was so fucking mad about that, actually. Anyway, what is wrong with me today? I can't stay on topic. So, I'm going to let you go. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for listening. Seriously, I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying it. I know some of the episodes are not top notch with editing, but I knew that I just had to throw it out there. If you want me to ever remake an episode to make more sense, please let me know. Just ask questions about it and I will happily remake them. Because if you're asking me, somebody else is thinking it. Alright? Do us both a favour. Thank you. Have a nice evening. Have a nice morning. I don't know when you're listening. Bada bing, bada boom. Bye.